So I wanted to talk about mind training and how it leads to self-compassion. Um, I've been thinking about self-compassion and how often it seems it's quite hard to have self-compassion sometimes. And not the self-compassion that is hidden by the afflictions like I'll treat myself with some more potato chips or another donut. The only way to truly have self-compassion is to apply the Dharma teachings to ourselves and our current situations. I have visited the Abbey twice a year for 16 years and have always felt at peace and calm at the Abbey. I have enjoyed the teachings and retreats and have left with a fairly calm mind, and then got home and didn't study much, and after about 1 or 2 months, would go back to my old ways, criticizing others, complaining about others, talking about others behind their backs, being generally unhappy and unsatisfied due to these actions. Looking back, I think I didn't embrace the Dharma then because my I, my me, my self-centered thought somehow knew that the Dharma would change it. I guess I hadn't suffered enough yet. I now think of this whole process as a cause and effect, dependent arising as it were. I was going around with this critical mind thinking that this person is doing that wrong. I didn't want the lights on. The tea kettles are not positioned the way I liked. I was having such a critical mind towards others, not realizing that when I do this, it is harming myself. Subconsciously, these negative thoughts and this self-centered mind is so destructive to my mind. I do not generate any merit or compassion with this mind. I do not create any self-confidence with this mind. All I am doing is feeding my afflictions and further solidifying my me, my I, my sense of self. This negative critical mindset was creating worry and anxiety about the future that I have absolutely no control over. By solidifying my sense of self, I am also solidifying any phenomena that I think or see or hear. And because I solidify these things and attach these phenomena to me, I suffer. Why don't I suffer when I hear other people's problems? It's because I don't have them affixed to me. They aren't my problems. These are my problems, and I suffer and get angry and irritated when I, at some level, realize that I have absolutely no control over these things. I think that others are the source of the suffering, not realizing that my own mind is creating and conceptualizing this delusional story. With this negative mindset towards others, I am 10 times as critical about my own behavior, never giving myself a break, judging my own and every action, worrying about what others are thinking of me, trying to always be perfect, never having the mind that I have done the best I can and give myself credit. This negative mindset is way more harmful to me than it will ever be to others. Irritation and anger seem so powerful and self-protective, but they are so destructive. I have to constantly have mindfulness to track what I am thinking about, and when my self-centered mind arises, wanting to be critical of some external phenomena, I have to constantly think they are just trying to be happy, over and over and over again. This was so hard for me to do at first. It was like ripping a part of myself off and giving it to someone else. But the more and more I practice this, the more I am chipping away at this giant mountain of my self-centeredness. The greater faith in the teaching, and when I notice how more content I am when I practice this, I'm having greater faith in the teachings, and then the more compassionate my mind becomes because I am slowly starting to think of others more than myself. I'm having more contentment and spaciousness and flexibility of mind, and self-confidence is growing. All this mind training heals myself from the subconscious guilt I feel when my afflictions are running rampant. At some point, I have to accept reality as it is, the reality that I can't control others' actions. I have to first have compassion for myself and then others by accepting that my mind and nothing else is the source of my happiness and suffering. This thinking of others has to be forced and contrived at first. My self-centered mind does not want to do it. It wants to blame others for my suffering. Compassion and nothing else is the true and ultimate antidote for the afflictions. Even though my mind fights this at every turn, pick whatever form of compassion you want, something short and quick and easy to remember, and try to be mindful throughout the day. And when you notice irritation come up, try to apply it. It will more and more give your mind a jolt, a pause, so you can reroute it towards compassion. His Holiness the Dalai Lama created the causes and conditions for Dharma to be taught in the West by sending Lama Yeshe and Lama Zopa here. Their great compassion and fortitude created the causes and conditions for Venerable Children and Venerable Sangye Kadra to teach us. Create the causes and conditions for your own happiness by learning, applying the Dharma to your own experience.